Welcome to TechDays 2012 Hong Kong Interview with Star Speakers series, and today we have Enrique with us. So, Enrique, tell us more about our MSIPC client.
Well, MSIPC client is a new platform, a new software development kit, a client, RMS client, and an API that's being introduced by the information protection product group at Microsoft. And it aims at making development of ADRMS-enabled applications much simpler and having applications that provide support for policies, encryption, policy enforcement, and all that in a much simpler way. It's SDK that's currently in beta, and it's going to be released in probably in a few weeks, and that should enable development of ADRMS-enabled applications in a much simpler, much stronger way.
I see. 咁Enrique就話 MSIPC 其實一個 SDK 咧，一個 standard 去令到你 encrypt 你啲 app 嘅 development 咧，咁就會更加容易嘅。So how does that impact application development?
Well, the impact should be very significant because in the past we delivered a different SDK, the previous version, which was called MSDRM, which was very complete and very effective, and in fact it is used by Office applications and many other applications. But the effort to use it and to develop RMS-enabled applications with it was very significant. Your application and your developers had to deal with things such as user activation, acquiring certificates and licenses, interpreting them, doing the decryption and encryption operations at a very low level, which meant that you need to work a lot to RMS-enable application, and sometimes that change the balance between doing it and not doing it. Some developer might say, well, yeah, I might invest a few hundred hours in RMS enabling my application to gain this, which is very valuable, but then I have so many other things to do that this never gets implemented.
Right.
And with the MSIPC platform, we have a much reduced effort for RMS integrating applications. For example, you don't have to care about user activation. The API does it for you. You don't have to really care about the cryptographic operations. You just say decrypt this document, acquire a license, or think very high-level operations like that. It's just 20 API calls and very simple. It's something that you can do with a much more reduced effort than in the past. That means that now you can invest just a few hours, maybe, in RMS enabling a simple application and get the full benefit. And with that, we expect developers to take notice and say, well, now it's worth the effort. It's a minor effort, and I still get the full benefit.
咁Enrique就話咧 MSIPC 嘅前身叫 MSDRM 啦，咁以前就係會要 deal with low level 好多啦，可能要寫多啲 code， 咁就會 tedious 好多啦，咁亦都係 testing wise 咧，亦都會要試多啲 scenario 啦，咁但係 with MSIPC 咧係 deal with high level 好多，咁你有時可能係即係 set 一個 flag， 咁就已經搞掂啦，咁其實係簡單咗好多嘅，亦都係安全咗好多添。So yeah, what's the benefit of that?
Well, now developers of applications that deal with sensitive data can get a significant competitive advantage with a minor investment. For example, in the past, you may have to invest or to write maybe 4,000 lines of code to RMS enable a relatively simple application. And as I said, that might be an interesting benefit, but the effort was significant, and then you had to maintain that, and it was very sensitive to changes in the underlying architecture. So we made changes on ADRMS, and that meant that your application had to be modified to benefit from that. Now with the new APIs, very high level, very simple function calls, and a developer just invests a few hours and gets the full benefit. And since we abstract all things such as cryptographic operations, user activation, all that, the developer doesn't have to care. We can change all that, and the developer just recompiles with the new version of the SDK, and everything works, and it gets all the benefits, and it adapts to the new infrastructure. And now developers can get a significant competitive advantage when developing applications by investing just a small effort in RMS enabling their applications. Let's say that you are the developer of an application such as a CAD application or something like that, and now you invest a few hours in doing that, in testing. Well, maybe it's more than a few hours, never in development, it's just a couple hours, but you invest a small effort in developing and testing for that, and now you have an application that differentiates from your competitors, because you go to a customer and the customer is implementing some information protection plan, They want to have data encrypted, protected with policies enforced, user awareness embedded into the applications and all that. And now they have your application that does all that out of the box without any additional effort in a way that's integrated and the users can use without training, without special training. And they compare that with a third-party application that doesn't do that. And you just invested a few hours and you have a very significant competitive advantage.
Right. 咁 Enrique 就話咧，用咗新嘅 MSIPC 呢個 SDK 嘅話咧，當你 develop 一個 application， 只需要 invest 多幾個鐘嘅時間落去咧，你就可以有晒所有嘅呢啲 information protection 啊 rights management 咁樣啦。咁就其實係一個非常之方便而 effective 嘅 way 去令你個 application stand out from 其他嘅 competitors 嘅。So thanks very much, Enrique, for your time talking about information protection today. Yeah.
My pleasure.
So,
Thanks
have fun in Hong
inviting
Kong.
me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Enjoying Hong Kong.
Yo, cool. So, okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.